Welcome along to the Shot Clock with Kieran and Donaghy. The rules of this are very simple. We have a timer. It ticks down from 2 minutes to 0. At the end of that, there's going to be an air horn. And at the end of that, you should have made your point. You should have been able to win your point. It's very straightforward. It is the Shot Clock with Kieran and Donaghy. We're going to have 8 talking points, a quick 5-minute interview in the middle of it. And it's time for Kieran and Donaghy to take it away.
Yeah, you're very welcome. I suppose first topic up today is the dream final on Paddy's Day. We saw the 2 semi-finals last Saturday. It's Crokes versus Corofin. 2 absolutely marvellous footballing sides. A game that I can't wait to see. But Ger, who have you got?
Well, I got to go Corofin because they're the favourites, and also just because I know that you're going to pick Crokes because of your Kerry loyalty. But hang on a second, do you not hate Crokes? Are you not supposed to is there not a proper Shelbyville Springfield rivalry here between
Tralee and Clarny? There probably is. They've beaten me in 2 county finals and a few semi-finals. They've broken my heart a few times. But Jesus, looking at them and just have to respect their ball movement, their decision making, how sharp they are. Down to 14 men pretty early.
Slight weakness in that full back line when you get at them?
I don't know, I thought Fionn Fitzgerald did excellently on their best player. Of course Corofin will be saying that, but I think the Crokes will be saying that too. You know, Kieran Fitzgerald, who I battled with many a time against Galway, great guy, but big and tall and strong against a load of speed merchants that the Crokes have had, and I've gone up against them loads of times, and you try and pick your poison with them and what way you go against them. If you get everybody back, they're really good, they're really smart. I think the times they've lost in the last 7 or 8 years, maybe at All-Ireland semi-final stage, has often been in a wet, muddy February night, and they've kind of come a cropper. But I think if Croke Park side will suit them against these boys, so I think Crokes. But a close one, but an unbelievable game, it must be said. How
important does it matter? Neither team seems to have a better sense of experience. You're thinking, okay, there's a team like Corofin who are in the peak of their powers at the moment. Crokes are maybe either coming back to a peak or were at their peak a couple of years ago. They don't have Gooch fully fit. Peak Gooch, you still going with them?
Still going with them, yeah. Gooch coming off the bench.
It's not bad, is it?
I'll take that in my team.
It's not bad, is it? Okay, so point number 2 this week, we're talking about referees who can't get no respect. Have a look at this. It's TG Carr and Nigel Owens pre-match in the dressing room. This is exactly how the conversation goes when you want to tell the team how they're supposed to behave. Have a look.
All here? Lovely, great, okay. The only thing I've got for you is the usual stuff. Same with Connaught as well, really. I don't have any issues with their scrums. They seem to be very positive, so if you do the same today, then there shouldn't be any issues, really.
Yeah, so Kieran got us thinking about this with a tweet saying, isn't it exactly time that the GAA had something like this? Mick Fenley, though, had a very wise point, and he was saying, do we really need this extra stuff in the GAA? It works in rugby because there's so much importance placed on the set pieces. You've got the breakdown, you've got the scrums in particular, which both need to be refereed in a very specific way. We don't have this in GAA, so are we not adding an extra layer of unnecessary fame and celebrity to the referees?
No, I think the referees are known anyway. So no, to me it's a communication thing, pure and simple. I think a referee's coming into both dressing rooms beforehand, having a little chat, maybe even going out to a few training sessions with teams, just to get out and to go over everything that they're emphasising for the year ahead, because the way the league is ref, you come into a league and it's all been ref one way, and then by the time it comes to the championship it kind of levels out. But let us know so us as the players can determine that. But I think communication, I made the point to them that, and Ty Kennelly came in on it, is that there's a real level of communication between the Australian players and the Australian umpires, as they're called. But it's a real first name basis. Calm down, Kieran, relax, because by all means, I was one of those fellas that didn't agree with some calls and probably didn't show it in the right way, but my frustration was probably stemming from someone turning around and going away from me, or maybe not communicating with me. And I just think if that stuff starts happening in the dressing room, it leads out onto the pitch, and you just have that bit more of a feeling for the guy and what he's like. So I think it's a...
Would there be a welcome in the GAA dressing room, though, where there's still that sense that pre-match people are kind of still banging hurls on the table?
We're not banging hurls on the table anymore. We're not throwing tables upside down. There's a time for maybe even half time if things aren't going well, but it's certainly not something that we're very calm in the pre-game. And if a referee came into the dressing room and said, I want it done this way, I want it done that way, my umpires will be watching for this, my linesmen are watching for this, I just think that it'd be a good starting point.
Should they be mic'd up?
I think so. I think they should be mic'd up. I think it's good for the crowd to hear. I think it's good for TV people to hear at home, because a lot of the calls in GAA are so marginal. There isn't a set rule for a call, so you'd like to get the referee's interpretation of why he pulled it, because we're often sitting at home kind of going, that's not a free. Why is that a free? And if you're the referee going, well, Kieran, you actually pulled his arm down when you were falling down, so that's why it's a free against you. People at home be like, okay, well, at least that's what he thinks.
Yeah.
He mightn't always be right, and they're never going to be right, because they're never going to be right all the time, because the rules are so iffy. There are a lot of grey areas in them. So
there was one suggestion that these players are amateurs, and so they're going to have to go to work tomorrow. If they swear on TV, that there's going to be a negative impact on them.
Well, swearing at anybody isn't a good thing to do, but as Ty Kennelly said in one of those replies to the tweets, any lip which is swearing at the referee, 50-metre penalty, which we talked about in the show last week, which is the 50-metre rule that would sort out so much shit in the GAA. It's not even funny, but you open your mouth in a negative way towards a ref, 50 metres, bang, next thing it's going over the bar, now you have your teammates going, Kieran, shut up.
And the whole crowd's heard it. So the campaign to get the 50-metre rule, it starts here on the shot clock this week.
Get it in.
All right, let's move on and talk about boozing.
Boozing, yeah. We saw David Brady's tweet, when dust settles, the time will pass, and the players will ask that they miss up an opportunity of a lifetime. Was there anything they could have done extra? Posting multiple piss-ups won't win you in All-Ireland. It's old school. I think it's an old school way of thinking. It's pure GAA at the moment. It's, fellas can't go out. Fellas can't go out 3 weeks before a game. They can't drink 2 months before a game. Teams are on drinking bans.
Is there ever a time when a drinking ban can work?
Absolutely. If you want to create a bit of unity and you have a real block of training and you want to keep everybody fit, of course there's a time for it. But I think we're obsessed with it. I think you see all these videos. You see the Irish team in 2006, they beat Sweden and boys are eating pizza and drinking beers and the thing. You see the rugby players after a game will always post they have a few glasses of wine with their meal, and I think it actually, rather than letting fellas have a few pints after a game, it promotes this thing where we don't drink for 4 weeks. Then you win a game and you go drinking for 2 days. Or as when I started with Kerry, it could be 3 days. And then you've trained on Tuesday night and there's 4 fellas still in the pub somewhere because we've been locked up for 2 months. This is our chance. They won't see us. There's not a game for another month. They'll get over it. There won't be a big deal. I just think a more level-headed approach to drinking in the GAA. And
did it come in as you got older, or is there still it's still there?
Yeah, I think it's settling a small bit, but there's still if I go 2 weeks before a county championship game in Kerry, and the question will be why were you out? Were you drinking? What were you doing? And I just think fellas put so much time into training, living this regimental lifestyle, that if they want to go for a meal, if they want to have a glass of wine, if they want to a week before a game, 2 weeks before a game, I don't think it's an issue. Once you can trust your guys that it isn't.
That's the issue. It's a trust issue. It's because so many of us can't really be trusted not to go completely mental on a night out. It's like, we'll just have the 1 or 2, and then it's like 4 in the morning. You're like, we've got a lock-in. That's the problem. Irish culture loves lock-ins.
Yeah. Irish culture does love lock-ins, but I think it's all because of that. It stems from that we pigeonhole ourselves into this one night every 2 or 3 weeks, and then it's like, I'm going to break free. Yeah,
your social currency depends on your ability to secure a good lock-in at night. Okay, let's move on. So, arrogance. When does arrogance actually not become arrogance and it's just pure confidence? We had Will Fleury in this week talking about this. Have a look at this video. It's pretty illuminating.
I didn't feel vicious on the night. I didn't feel that fear. But there is a psychology within just being like, no, I'm better. I'm actually better than you. And I can do things better than you can, and I'm training in a better environment than you are. And, just what I do, you won't be able to match. There's a positivity within that, but there is, like you said, when does it become an entitlement?
Will Fleury came into us before his big fight in Rome and was absolutely cocksure that he was going to win because he was better than the other guy. That's what he told us. And then 90 seconds into a fight that he was, in fairness, winning, he got sparked out and got beaten. And so he is now a different man as a result of having gone through this experience. But you can see why confidence is the single most important thing that any sports person or team can have, because it allows you to perform at your optimum level. But you just need a little bit of fear too, right?
Yeah, you absolutely do. Yeah, it's a good point that he makes, because you can't turn the switch on. The fear is something you can't get when you've all of a sudden gone 4 points down. I'm scared, no, we're going to lose, I'm going to do this. It has to be in the pit of your stomach before a game, and that's why most of the games through my career, I was always nervous because I was playing full forward for Kerry, so I had a job to do anyway, regardless who it was against. I couldn't, if I was out midfield, you could kind of get through a game without, being great or poor. Whereas full forward, you're kind of found out if you're not playing well. So that always kept that pain in my stomach. But as a team, in a team environment, that happens all the time. You see it. I've been a part of it where you have in the back of your head that you're going to win. You hope you're going to win. You've done all the work.
Ireland, England and the rugby, they had the fear. We had the confidence / the arrogance, and now England have the arrogance because that's who they are.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was I remember there was a year there we were after winning the All Ireland in 07, and we fancied beating Cork in a Munster final, and we got our arses handed to us. And because we just didn't have that fear, we felt we were better. We felt we were okay, and next thing, it comes to an All-Ireland semi-final down the road, and all of a sudden the fear is there, and if we get beaten twice in a year by Cork, we're finished in Kerry.
Yeah.
And that, just having that fear got us over the line, and it's you have to have it, but the confidence, you have to have the confidence too. You can't be, so you have to have the confidence, but you can't let it go to where you think you're better than you are.
Why did you get arrogant ahead of that Cork game? Was that because you didn't trust?
Well, it was just probably we were after winning 2 All-Irelands in a row, we just, that confidence comes with it, but it's not even cockiness as so much as just not having that fear in the pain of your stomach, in the pit of your stomach. It's vital for any sportsman, whatever sport you play. It's what gets you up in the morning is that fear of not performing and letting you or your teammates down, I think.
Yeah, complacency is a cancer in a team.
Yeah, 100%.
Next, we're moving on to the underdog story of the week.
Yeah, underdog story of the week is Mullinjachta and Guidor. I think we all watched it on Saturday. A tough one for both sides because of the story they were on, and I think both teams have added so much to people's joy throughout the end of last winter and the journeys they went on. For Guidor, obviously had a very tough loss a few weeks ago, and they did themselves really proud and were brilliant, and them Guidor boys have been amazing. Same at Mullinjachta, but even looking at I don't think David Brady would have liked the crack that was going on if they had an All-Ireland final come ready, but just, they seem like a great bunch of lads, and they've kind of, I suppose Twitter has led us into they're from a very rural part of Donegal. We wouldn't get to see much of them.
No.
But we are now, and we're getting to see the characters, and I was with Neil McGee out in Australia, and we were in Melbourne, we were after beating the Aussies, and we had a big night out on the Friday night, and then the Saturday, a few of us were a bit sick, went for the cure Saturday morning. We were allowed. There was no drinking bans. We went out for 1 or 2 pints at 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning in an Irish bar. McGee lands in, straight up to the bar, turns around. There's about 6 or 7 of us there, lands back with a tray of 7 tequilas. So that kind of gives you the insight to maybe some of these videos. But no, I just think they're a great story for both teams, and shows you as well that if you want it and you apply yourself and you get a bit of luck along the way, that anything's possible for any of these club teams that want to go on this journey. And I thought they were a great example to everybody who's not sitting at the top table in their county to say, listen,
you don't have to be a super club to get here.
No, you don't. You have to have the right stuff in you. You have to have the right setup. You have to have a good man in charge, which both teams had, and they obviously had great players. Like, I thought Cassidy in the semi-final was an absolute monster. It was like give me in the ball, and I'm going to do the damage for you, and I'm going to get us there. And I just thought he was immense, and it was great to see himself and Kieran Fitzgerald battle it out. But Mullinjachta were probably just outclassed by the Crokes, couldn't get a hand on him, even with the extra man. But to be there is just amazing.
Yeah, and for it to end in the way it did, they end with honour. It wasn't a hammering,
hugely.
You've seen some teams reach this stage in the competition and it's a step too far for them. Their luck runs out, but that wasn't the case here.
And I feel for them. I lost an All-Ireland semi-final to Slaughtneil in Portlaoise with Aston Stacks, and Jesus, it's a tough one to lose, because the prize is Croke Park, and it's your family, and it's playing with your friends that you grew up with and you went to school with, and that's a huge prize. And when it doesn't happen, it's a really, that dressing room, I found it extremely tough, that dressing room afterwards, because you're also thinking, it's hard to get back here. I was
going to ask, can you
county.
get back?
well, you know, that's what we're training hard for at the moment, is to try, and you got to start with winning your county, you got to start with winning your Munster, and then you got to get back to there. So working hard at the last few years, but that was 3 years ago now, and we haven't got back since. One
of the things that happened on the show this week was Owen Shane was in, and we had a 5 in a row special. Jackie Tyrrell and Sheamus Darby are both part of the new Laker Gale series. Obviously Sheamus Darby most famous for having scored the goal that stopped the 5 in a row for Kerry. Owen randomly said that he is a bit of a legend in Kerry, and I was like, is this true? Is this true, Kieran Donaghy? Is Sheamus Darby somebody that Kerry have accepted into the bosom of their hearts for that moment of history that he created?
No. He broke our hearts, Sheamus Darby, so he's not a legend. He's probably a legend in the 31 other counties for beating that famous Kerry team. Like if Dublin were in a final against the team now and somebody got a goal in the last minute to deny it, you know, we're all shouting for the underdogs here. Let's not mistake about it. There was nobody going for Kerry that day, only Kerry. So Sheamus Darby is not a legend in Kerry. We have massive respect for him because of the career he had, and that was just the tail end of it, but he had a very good career before that. But the goal too was a special goal, so Kerry people love a bit of magic and a nice finish, so we'd always have time for it. But he is,
and to complain about it, obviously.
We love complaining about it. I was in my mother's stomach in the Canal End.
Right.
Yeah, I was born March '83.
Wow.
She was at the game, so it was technically probably my first time in Croke Park. It was a tough day for Kerry people, and it just showed, like, even what the journey Sheamus went on after that, and he'd ups and downs, and it was tough. And I wonder, even if someone got a goal this year against Dublin in the last minute to stop the 5 in a row, what would their life be like afterwards, with the new age and the social media and
the pressure and the celebrity that comes with it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it'd be a tough one.
Yeah, I do think that great teams need good rivals, though. That, like, what that great Kerry team obviously had at various stages was the Dubs, but that Offaly team was really good, and I think that maybe that got lost a little bit until recently. Obviously there was the brilliant book about that game in particular, and then the recent documentary that you kind of need great rivals to make great teams, and Dublin needed another great rival to emerge here.
100%, and like Dublin there was Dublin Kerry, but Offaly were always sniffing around, and it was Dublin and Kerry too, maybe not the last 2 years, but before that, and then Mayo were there, so Mayo could be the Offaly, maybe it could be Aidan O'Shea or Andy Moran catching the ball in the last minute.
One last time for Andy Moran.
Just they wouldn't buy a drink in Mayo after that, I'd say.
No. We'll talk about the Mayo fans again. So there's one other thing that we want to talk about was GAA refereeing this week.
Yeah, look, we spoke about it, and we talked about it, and we've Pat McEnaney on the line to maybe just give us an insight. I know he refed a few games down under, and Pat was a great official when he refed, and a great communicator to the players. So I just want to maybe pick his brains on a few things here.
Morning, lads.
Morning, Pat.
I'm so glad you didn't name me on that round of shots, Kieran, there with the McGee's.
That was a bit early for you, Pat.
Conversation.
What do you think, Pat? Like, you were always, in fairness, as communicators go, you were obviously a great ref, but you were a great guy to communicate with teams. And trust me, I know I was on the pitch to you a few times, and there was times I was going at you probably out of a bit of frustration, and you just tell me shut up, Kieran, and I'd kind of look at you and go, yeah, he's right, and shut up. But I think it was the fact that you could go to you, and you always had a kind of a sympathetic ear. You'd listen to me in a way, even if you didn't agree with me, and then you'd just say, no, Kieran, I didn't think it was, and you'd run away, and I'd be that'd calm me down. Do you think that could be something that could be improved on, or do you think it is improved on, or do you think the refs are very good at it?
I think there's... let me correct you there, Kieran. I don't think I ever told you to shut up, because that would be a very bad way of communicating with people. I think that would definitely get people's goat up. But, listen, I totally agree with you. I've always said when even when I became chairman of the referees for 3 years, about communication, it's a massive issue for referees, and some lads are very good at it, and some lads are not. And if you just take the Nigel Owen clip that for example, that people are talking about, he goes into the dressing room, but Nigel Owen works in radio. He's a good. He has a good presence about him. He's a good speaker. He's used to dealing with the public. So that's his background. So I often say it depends on your background. I deal in customer service. I've been dealing with people all my life. So that gives me an edge in that field. But you may get some guy that's driving a forklift, that's a very good referee. He could be a bus driver. He could be something that maybe doesn't demand all that communication every day. He may be a quiet fella. He may not be the best of a communicator, yet he may be a very good referee. So a lot of it, to me, is down to your actual personality.
Pat, is there any sense in miking up the referees. I mean, obviously the demands of TV, that's what they want. They want more content, they want more information, they want all that kind of stuff made public. What would your view into the future be? Has it changed at all? Has your view softened or developed over the while?
No, but I think, the GAA, as we all know, they're a very slow-moving mountain. We tend not to make too many mistakes. If you look at, I always say about all the rule changes we've made in over the years, we go back to the last 20 years. I think we've only ever gone back on one, and that was the fisted pass. Yes, we've reviewed the sin bin this year. But, we tend to when we make decisions, we tend to get them right. We have a history of getting them right. And if you look at where referees have come from, where I've started, where you were on the referee, you were on your own, and you walked out to the linesman, you ran out to the linesman, you communicated. Everything was communicated on the field. Then we moved to the next step of buzz or flags. You had a wrist or an armband, and then the next step then were you have your 4 umpires mic'd, you have your 2 linesmen mic'd. So everybody's mic'd on the field now at inter-county level. So that's just another step. And yes, I totally agree. I think we need to get to the next step of being mic'd with the media people and get a message out there. I've no doubt. If you look at the progress that's been made over the last number of years, that is a step, and I've no doubt over the next few years the GAA will make it.
Pat, and I've been harping on the last few weeks about this 50-metre rule. I know you refereed out in the compromise rules in Australia, and.
Yes.
I just don't think the time wasting that goes on late in GAA games where there's a free and you're winning by 3 points and you toe poke the ball away and then you bring it up 14 and then we get all our men back. I just don't think it's enough of a punishment. And I know in the Aussie rules we have to give it back to them on the compromise, we have to give it back to them on the full or it'll be brought up. But Tig was mentioning any lip towards referees, and this is encouraging again the communication, but the right type of communication. Of course, nobody wants that confrontational communication that maybe I would have been known for running at referees and hands out and roaring because I was being pulled inside in the square. But a better type of communication maybe would encourage that forklift guy to talk back to me, and if I was over the top, he blows the whistle, brings it up 50 metres, and that I have to learn my lesson about how to communicate with the referees. So I think an all-round better deal of communication and them coming into the dressing rooms beforehand, having a little chat with us, we getting to know them personally, what they like, what they don't like. I know it happens between the captains out in the field, but that's always the same. They're running all lads, don't be pulling jerseys, don't be doing this, but that 50-metre rule, would it be something that you think would be looked at for, instead of your sim bin and your black card, if Dublin have a kick out and somebody pulls someone down, or Kerry have a kick out and they pull somebody down the half back line, does that 50-metre rule from that foul, does that cut that out?
Yeah, it's a suggestion, and again, it's something, that, might be looked at trial. But, if you look at your top referees like Maurice Teague and Joe McQuillan, these boys, you very seldom at that level you get fellas, the players will always accept their decision because, the top referees tend to get it right most times, and there's a respect around them. But, Conor Lane, Maurice Teague, they're very good communicators. That's one of one of the advantages that they have, and you don't see a whole load of lip going on between players and the top referees. I don't think at the moment, because I think inter-county football, you've got to be reasonably well disciplined. Like, it's seldom enough you see the ball advance nowadays.
Yeah, maybe my point is more probably on the time wasting advancing the ball and the cynical fouling advancing the ball. But yeah, I take your point in that. But as good as communicators as they are, I still think it's something that needs to be improved by both players and officials. That'll be my point of view.
That's fine. Yeah, agree.
Pat, great stuff. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Cheers, lads. Good to talk.
Pat McEnaney giving us some quick-fire thoughts on some ideas there. Definitely having the mic up, not quite having the 50 metres moving forward.
Yeah.
This is good, the little acorns, that's how great oak trees come from.
Yeah, Pat speaking a small bit with his referee's hat on there, I think.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, it's a fair point that it's like the best referees are the best communicators, so they probably don't need it. But if you're refereeing a junior match in Kildare or in Kerry and the referee's getting crap, you move that forward 50 metres, the whole team says, shut up. Yeah,
but absolutely, and it's for kids as well. Kids at games, kids learning off games. If they see that you just can't talk to a ref in that way, then you cut it out all the way down. Look, I've been at games, and Pat is fine at, we're talking about inter-county games, but you've been at games where the ref is getting serious stick off players, and he moves it up 14, which is no good.
I've been at games where Pat has been getting serious stick off the Kildare fans as well, but we're not going to mention the war this morning, and the Mayo fans are like, what are you talking about? Anyway, let's move on and make some quick predictions on the shot clock for this week. Obviously, a massive weekend of sport, like a truly massive weekend of sport. We're going to start with the Dublin Mayo game. Mayo have been the best in the country at putting pressure on the opposition kickouts. Are they going to be able to do it this week against Dublin?
Yeah, I think Mayo are very good at that, and that's something they're going to have to do to try and compete with Dublin. Kerry did it effectively in Tralee the other night. I think they got 4 or 5 turnovers that led to 2 scores and a free. Croke Park is harder to do it. It's just, it plays bigger, it is bigger. But Mayo are the best. You know, Mayo are very good at pushing up on the kick out and forcing people into taking chances. And Evan Comfort will be tested again this weekend. But if Mayo can maybe get 4 to 5.
If I'm Mayo, is there any point of me saying, oh yeah, come on lads, off you go through, we've got nothing to see this year? No, you don't want to alert Dublin at this stage, give them any tape? Do you rope it up to them a bit?
No, I don't think so. I think you go for it. I think Mayo are in a position where they're trying to get to the league final. Dublin are coming for them after the loss against Kerry 2 weeks ago. Dublin have to win this game to get to the league final, so they're going to be going all out. So I don't think it's any place for rope it open. I think it's go show your cards and go play. They mightn't play again till August in a Super 8s or a final, exactly, so it's time to go for it.
OK, Liverpool against Manchester United, or rather more accurately Manchester United against Liverpool. It's live on News Talk, 2:05 kick-off this weekend. Is this the bit where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer finally decides, yes, I am the best manager for Manchester United, and writes his name in the history books for Man United fans again as the person who derailed the title challenge for Liverpool? Is that going to happen this weekend?
I think so. I think looking at United, and I watched the Chelsea game painfully enough last Monday night, but I just thought how hard they were working for him. And then their best players, the Pogba, the Rashfords, are really flying. I think Liverpool are on that kind of, they're on that nervous energy kind of streak. They'll see it going there as a game that's obviously a must win for them, but fancy United. I just think it's United's turn. They've been waiting to get one over on them for a while, and Liverpool, with all the pressure of the league mounting on them, might just be too much.
I absolutely cannot disagree with that. I think this is the bit where Ole Gunnar Solskjaer might finally succeed in his job application for this. And then the final thing we're talking about is number of tries this weekend. Before we get on to the number of tries in the Ireland-Italy game, I have a feeling that Wales are going to send that chariot to the factory for a little bit of to the Honda factory in Swindon.
Well, it is the place. It's a hard place to go, Cardiff, yeah, they'll be licking their chops at England coming. And look, we talked. Yeah, we talked about it earlier on about that arrogance. You can be sure England have a bit of that arrogance.
And the Welsh too. Yeah. This is exactly what I can't wait for this game.
Number of tries for Ireland. I think Ireland are going to kind of hopefully unleash the weekend. I think they're getting a bit too much of this kind of people calling them boring and all this, because they're regimental and they do their jobs well and they'd still get tries. But people are saying that this boring line is out. So I think Ireland are going to go and really try and express themselves and take a few more chances, because it's a game you can take chances in. So I'd be hoping for 6 or 7 tries from Ireland the weekend.
I think we'll just squeak out the 4th at the last minute. shotclock@offtheball.com is the email address. We'll get to your mailbag if you've got any suggestions for us or anything you want to if you want to score it as well. You know, I mean, obviously Kildare beating Kerry this time, I think we can all agree with that.
We'll give you this one.
Good luck.
Yeah, that is episode 2 of Kieran Donaghy Shot Clock, and you can email Kieran directly with any thoughts or questions or topics or anything you want to give out about. If there's something you want to discuss, you can get in touch with shotclock@offtheball.com.